The world keeps on changing, nobody can keep up with the current events, so I have decided to do this episode of Raw Ups and Downs with my hood up, because I thought I don't want to be a human anymore. I want to be E.T. Remember, he's on the bike and you get that music, and he flies past the moon, and it's all silhouetted. Today, I am going to be E.T. and there's nothing you can do about it. But with that said, we're still going to get into it. We are going to go through last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, and we're going to give the good bits and up and the bad bits are down. But again, I mentioned all the craziness in the world, and I'm just going to keep on saying this even if people don't want to hear it. I'm sending you good cheer, I'm sending you health, and I'm sending you safe thoughts. Let's all just stay indoors for the time being. When we get a few months down the line, we can forget about all this and start moaning about, I don't know, Roman Reigns. Boo, Roman Reigns. Oh, Roman Reigns, I hate you so much. You remember what we used to do. My name is Simon Miller. Let's up those downs. Raw started with the same video package that aired a couple of weeks ago, focusing on Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. So Paul Heyman was there saying how much he loves Brock and he wants his children. And then Drew popped up going, hey, Paul Heyman's not a liar, but I shall still slay the beast at WrestleMania. And while it still is a very little fun thing to watch, it's like most things in life, the first time is always better because of the law of diminishing returns. Actually, there are exceptions to that, like sex. The first time you have sexual intercourse, it's really awkward and it's really weird. I don't know why we're talking about sex. We then switched to the empty performance center, and can you believe it? WWE had actually moved the cowed camera, so now it's focusing on the ring and it's focusing on the entranceway and you can't see the empty seats. Now, is there a good chance that they borrowed this from AEW? Yes. Do I care as a fan? No. It was a good idea, and if you have eyes and a brain and you see a good idea and go, oh, that will work for our show, just do it. It made me enjoy it more as a fan. I don't care. If anyone's on Twitter right now going, I can't believe them, just ignore them. They're going to do that regardless. Give it up. Paul Heyman then basically spent the rest of his time running down Drew McIntyre and saying while he is a good hot tamale, Brock will beat him at WrestleMania. He'll do it quick, but it won't be painless. He then also said that McIntyre will be Lesnar's bitch. Now, everybody is saying this in 2020, and I want to know what it means. Like, when Drew loses, does he become a pet of Brock Lesnar? What does it mean when you become somebody's bitch? That make no sense. This was fine though. Brock did that thing where he just stood there and glared, but because we did have this new setup, the camera at one point was right in his face and he looked like he was about to go crazy and whip everybody's ass. And even with the, well, strangeness of WrestleMania this year, still quite excited about seeing these two clash. We then aired the triple threat match from the 2015 Royal Rumble between Lesnar, Seth Rollins, and John Cena. And if you have never seen that, my word, were you in for a lovely and satisfying ride, because that is one good professional wrestling bout. Now, I have already seen it, and while I did watch it here again, it's not like I could get overly excited, because I have viewed it so many times, I could probably write out every scene on a piece of paper. That's right, I really enjoy it. It did make me think at one point that maybe I have to return to my home planet, that's ET. It did make me think at one point that maybe USA and WWE should sit down and maybe go, hey ho, for the next few weeks, why don't we only air 2-hour programming? But that is never gonna happen. There's more chance of me actually being in a Steven Spielberg movie. But you know what we do when WWE airs old matches on new TV? We tell some wrestling jokes. Why does Gordon Ramsay not like WWE on Monday nights? Because it's Raw. What did John Cena say to his English teacher after she gave him a C? You can't see me. Why do people call that lady from Japan the Empress of Tomorrow? I don't know, but I'll ask her. They're getting worse, I know, but look, I'm actually laughing at them. What a flippin' nerd. When this was done, we were back into the real world and AJ Styles was ready to cut a promo on The Undertaker about their big match at the Show of Shows. But he also let us know that WrestleMania is so big, WWE is having to put it over 2 nights. And before this, Paul Heyman was telling us, oh, WrestleMania is so big, we have to put it over 2 nights. And before this, Tom Phillips, the commentator, was telling, oh, WrestleMania is so big, we have to put it on 2 nights. And later on, somebody else came out and said, you take my point, it's too much, stop bashing me over the head with this as if it's a fish that is trying to get back in the water. I get it, WrestleMania is over 2 nights because it's so big, you don't have to tell me 74,622 times. I tell you, it is exhausting, and by the end of the night, you just want to run wild, and you can't because we're locked in our houses. Down. Anywho, Styles was out here, as already mentioned, and he doesn't care what night his match with The Undertaker will be happening, because he knows it's all down to Michelle McCool and when she lets her husband out. And I swear, this isn't actually a feud between AJ Styles and The Undertaker. It's actually a feud between AJ Styles and Michelle McCool. I can only assume because Michelle McCool used to use the Styles Clash, and AJ has never let it go. The OC and the Phenomenal One were then taking the mickey out of the way The Undertaker dresses because it looks like his trousers are paternity pants. Actually, they said maternity pants. I don't know what paternity pants would be. Paternity pants are just jeans. Anyway, that was quite funny, and all of this was quite good. Stars had more for the old pregnant phenom, or the OPP, and they actually aired. Like, if you've been on social media this week, you will have seen that Undertaker and his wife Michelle McCool uploaded a video to social media where they put out a message saying, look everybody, we've got to protect the tigers, don't kill off the tigers, otherwise they're going to be extinct. And we showed this on Raw, and AJ Styles just ripped right into it. And between this and the constant references to Mark, this is as inside baseball as we've ever been with the character, but that is AJ Styles' point. He doesn't want this guy, he wants the old dead man, even though he can't have that, because Michelle McCool, there she is again, feud, program, has already taken his soul. That sucks because he wanted to be the man to do that, and now he's just left with some ragged up old dude who's moaning about the environment. But AJ promised that he would somehow summon the classic version of The Undertaker, and he's gonna do that, ready for this? In a boneyard match. Now, straight up, what the hell is a boneyard match? This is me raising my hand because I like a teacher to answer it. But also, I saw these two sign a contract recently. No one ever told me there was a boneyard match. So now, do they have to re-sign the contract? Also, forget about that. What is a boneyard match? I'm going to guess it's either like a buried alive match or a graveyard match. Two things which we've seen before. But for some reason, it's now called a boneyard. So if WWE can change matches, so can I. So the Hell in a Cell is now going to be called the Nightmare Box. A ladder match is going to be called a Steel Mountain Challenge, and Money in the Bank shall be Cash in the Hole. You are welcome, World Wrestling Entertainment. I only ask for 10% commission. Cash in the hole. With all that said, I'm all about daft stipulations this year because WWE is pre-taping WrestleMania, so yeah, go to some crazy spooky location and film this like a show I'd watch on Netflix, and I think I'll quite enjoy it, I tell you. Not gonna hate this at all. We then got the official announcement that it is gonna be Angel Garza and Andrade teaming up to take on the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, at WrestleMania, and the challengers were cutting a promo, and this was the usual. So Zelina Vega is in charge, and all Angel Garza really wants in life is to hit on attractive women, because he was kind of making vibes of Zelina Vega, just straight out winked at Charlie Caruso, and she really liked it. Angel Garza. The pair also want to win the belts, and while this kind of announcement is the definition of stuff just happens, like, you can't blame WWE right now, they're in uncharted waters, which is kind of ironic, because WrestleMania has a pirate theme. And then we had it confirmed. You were hoping all this strange booking with Ricochet, which is a bit of the woohoo wah-hey, and we were going to get back on track. It was proven incorrect here, because he was teamed with Cedric Alexander, who had also suffered a similar fate, and Angel Garza and Andrade just whooped him. And I understand why we had to do that. You've got to establish them as the number one contenders. Ricochet shaved his beard off and he's changed his gear, but none of it has helped, and it makes me sad. What did that man do? What did Ricochet do? We're never going to find out, and that is getting it down. However, as for the match itself, it was absolute fire, and if you have no intentions of watching it, you should change that decision right now. And it's kind of bizarre to view, because when you see people doing all the flippy-dippy-doo-dah stuff and you get no crowd reaction, your brain is confused, because it's almost like Pavlovian conditioned to hear that noise, and yet there's nothing but silence. The Street Profits came out halfway through to join the commentary team, because why wouldn't you do that in the middle of a wrestling match? But Ricochet and Cedric are so rubbish, they weren't even able to use that to cause the distraction finish. Instead, Andrade hit an elbow on Alexander, which was absolutely devastating, although I didn't realize until I saw the replay, and I think the referee was the same, because he saw the elbow and he went 1, 2, and instead of hitting 3, I guess he went, just an elbow, he's going to kick out. He didn't, so he went, and eventually smacked the mat for the 3. But honestly, when you saw it back, it took his throat out. So while this did make me a little sad, because I think Cedric Alexander and Ricochet are going to be confined to WWE main event for the remaining of the calendar year, in terms of a match that I watched on Raw, boy howdy, was this a little fun. Afterwards, the Street Profits and Andrade and Angel, they had a little bit of a fight before the heels ran away. Alright. From nowhere, the Street Profits then had a match of their own. They beat a couple of jobbers who were from NXT, by the way. Should you so care, we learned that it is going to be Bobby Lashley versus Aleister Black at WrestleMania 36, because of course they've been feuding for a very long time, so it's time to pay off that program. And we cut to a video earlier in the week where Riddick Moss got rolled up by R-Truth, meaning Truth is your new 24/7 champion. So much for social distancing. There was Riddick, there was R-Truth, and there was a referee. No one's listening. Just nobody's listening. I really like the sit-down Shayna Baszler interview though. And it was exactly that, as Shayna sat down in the ring with Charlie Caruso, but because they dimmed the lights and made the production look a little bit different, it kind of had more of an atmospheric vibe. I mean, Charlie was asking some of the most ridiculous questions I've ever heard in my life, and it was like, Shayna, you brutalize people. Are you going to brutalize Becky Lynch? Nobody talks like that. You know, we got a whole segment, but nobody talks like that. You'd say, look, Shayna, are you going to go in there and just whoop everybody's ass? Shayna ignored the first few questions. I'm not surprised. I would have ignored them as well before she just came alive and she was like, listen, here's the deal. I like hurting people. I'm going to hurt Becky Lynch. I'm going to go to WrestleMania 36. I'm going to take her title and then I'm going to laugh in her face because she's going to be nothing but another victim. Unfortunately, that didn't work out well here. Now, I don't know if WWE planned this spot because they were like, hey, we're going to be in a silent arena and this will be really cool. But all of a sudden, you just heard like this gunshot noise, and as it turned out, somebody had smashed Shayna Baszler with a chair. Obviously, the camera then panned back, and it was Becky Lynch, and she hit her again. But honestly, like I say, this chair sounded like a weapon, and I was a little bit concerned, like, has Shayna Baszler just lost her back? It was a bit like a dramatic reveal in some kind of murder mystery, but I enjoy this feud, I'm into it, and I want to see them have a big scrap at WrestleMania 36, even if it is in front of 0 people. I call that a success. Aleister Black then beat Leon Ruff, and Leon Ruff is officially my new favourite wrestler, because Aleister Black was playing mind games here, and he just sat down in the middle of the ring rather than fight, and Leon turned to the referee and was like, what's he doing, ref? What's he doing? The ref was like, I don't know, it's a wrestling match. Why don't you have a wrestle? So Leon then tried to wrestle, he got Black Mass, sold it better than anybody I've ever seen, and he lost. I don't know why I enjoyed this so much, I just did. Let's get it up. Seth Rollins then yelled at Kevin Owens for a while, and you wouldn't think it, but it's also getting it up. Now, before we get into it properly, 2 things. One, I actually think WWE promos may be better when you don't have a crowd, and that means we are part of the problem, and I'm gonna have to sit with that for a little while and let it adjust through my head and see if I'm okay with that. And 2, something that we do have to stop doing when there is no crowd, if you are a wrestler and somebody is yelling at you, you can't just stand there and be yelled at, because that's essentially what Kevin Owens did here. At one point he tried to interrupt Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins went, no Kev, let me finish. So Kevin Owens let him finish. It wouldn't happen in real life, and it's just too obvious here. Like if somebody walks in now, goes, Simon, you're an asshole, I don't just go, I probably go, no, you're an asshole, and I punch him in the face. But Rollins absolutely ruined KO here by reminding him how his own journey had been. Because obviously last week Kevin had said he weren't worth a damn. And he was like, if it wasn't for me, there would have been no NXT. You wouldn't have existed. There'd be no NXT takeovers. There'd be own NXT titles. And hell, we probably wouldn't have had a women's revolution. Obviously, he was healing up here, but his delivery was so good and it was so believable and it was so intense. You were like, oh my gosh, Seth Rollins, you have risen from the ground and you are back on top of your chair. So Seth rocked here and he absolutely utilized the situation to his advantage. But again, Kev should have said something. He should have said anything. And I kind of understand the point. You're meant to think, oh my gosh, this has affected Owens mentally, and he's really upset about this, but he also looked like a little bit of a goof. However, luckily, much like Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch, I really want to see Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. I'm going to keep everything crossed that Kevin Owens wins. That's all I need. All I need is to be excited about the match, and you have done your job. I also think, depending on how they do it, this may be an absolute barn burner. And once again, if you don't intend to watch any matches or anything from Raw, just go check out Seth Rollins' promo. Also check out Randy Orton's. We'll talk about that in a second. These things are working, man, and it should be something we store in here for when this whole debacle is over. WWE then aired Charlotte versus Asuka from WrestleMania 34. And it's kind of like, I don't really want to watch another old match now. Even though I love that fight, it was one of my favorites on that night. And also, I don't have any more jokes. I'm out of jokes. I don't know. Why has Rusev not been on WWE TV in a while? Because the company don't understand what they have with him, and they'll probably never actually allow him to reach his potential. That's not funny. It's true. It's sad. We then got to our closing segment for Monday Night Raw, and it was Randy Orton coming out there with a microphone to address everything that Edge had said last week. I don't usually do this, and maybe I'm just in a good mood, maybe I just had a great night's sleep, but it's not just getting an up, it's getting a golden up. And I know, it's just Randy with a microphone talking, but he was so captivating, he was so intense, and I was so hanging on his every word, I have decided to go in this direction. And even when all is said and done, if Randy goes back to being just like coasting Orton, where he doesn't really care what's going on, I will give him a free pass, because now when he is motivated, he is stealing the show. But his whole point here was that he finally understands and that he was wrong before, because Adam Copeland Edge isn't obsessed with the Raw of the fans. Adam Copeland is obsessed with the character of Edge, and he's never gonna let him die, no matter what that means for his personal life, no matter what that means for his family, no matter what that means for his wife, and no matter what that means for his kids. He then addressed everything that Edge had said about him being handed everything on a silver platter and went, yeah, you know it's true, but are you trying to tell me you wouldn't have done the same? Rated R superstar? I mean, you call yourself the ultimate opportunist. I was handed an opportunity, I took it, and you know damn well you would have done the same. If Triple H had come soaring up in the corridor to you, Mr. Copeland, and said, hey, do you want a bit of evolution? You would have said, you bet your ass, so don't you come at me, and also don't forget what I've achieved. You talked about your match with Mick Foley, well, he passed you your torch, but I took it, and you talk about grit, well, I'm made of grit, and now we should have a grit match. That last bit's not true. The stipulation is not going to be they fight in grit, but the theme of this is certainly #grit. And because of the situation and how WWE was able to shoot this, as Randy was telling his story, we plastered footage over the top, and that was awesome. So when he talked about Edge, we saw Edge. When he talked about evolution, we saw evolution. And it was a bit like watching, I wouldn't say it was a bit like watching a movie, but it had better production values. And I'm like, damn it, the fans are responsible again. But fair play, Randy Orton, you have turned Edge versus yourself into what I believe is the highlight of WrestleMania. And if you just want to air that on Saturday and then repeat it on Sunday, I will give you a round of applause and say I'm in for that. This was just flipping awesome, and I can't wait to watch it as myself, and I can't wait to watch it as E.T. The show then went off air after Orton had accepted Edge's challenge for a last man standing match. And again, this was absolutely fabu. Well done, Randy Orton. You are clearly switched on to this. I can't wait to see what you have planned. And that was another end to a very strange Raw. And while some people are going, man, Raw was really boring, I didn't think it was that boring. I mean, I thought we did a decent enough job in building up WrestleMania, which, by the way, is so big we're having to air it over 2 nights. And yeah, I get it, the retro matches wear thin. But what do you want WWE to do? At least they moved to hard cam. At least they're listening. At least they're paying attention. Spin the arrow, give it an up. You've kind of probably figured out I don't have it in me to give any wrestling match or show a down at the moment, because it just seems so unfair where they go, here's some entertainment, and we go, stomp over that, who gives a crud, and also, it was decent enough. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's episode of Raw. Did you like it, or did you think it was a pile of crap? Like the video, share the video, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling. The button is there, it's somewhere, just click it. Then head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter, WhatCulture WWE. Watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon Miller, the Extraterrestrial. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget, we got lots to do this week. We've got Up and Down for Dynamite, we've got Up and Down for SmackDown, then we've got to prepare ourselves for WrestleMania. I'm ready. I'm going to do both nights, Saturday, Sunday, throwing my fists. I'll see you soon.